The moment the cabin door swings open at the airport, the air tells you everything you need to know. It is not merely heat, it is a fragrant, humid embrace that carries the scent of tiare flowers and salt spray. In this corner of the world, time does not tick. It flows like the tide. You have arrived in French Polynesia, a sprawling constellation of 118 islands scattered across a patch of the South Pacific, roughly the size of Europe. To understand these islands, you must start where the heartbeat is loudest. Tahiti is the matriarch, a rugged, emerald-crowned queen rising defiantly from the seafloor. Most travelers treat Tahiti as a transit point, a brief pause before fleeing to the more famous lagoons of her sisters. They miss the soul of the archipelago. This is no sanitized tourist trap. Here, the local families bring the bounty of the volcanic soil and the deep blue sea. Beyond the city limits, the island transforms. The coastline of Iti, the smaller peninsula, remains wild and untamed. This is home to Teahupo'o, where the ocean produces a wave so heavy and perfect that it defies logic. Watching the swell hit the reef there provides a visceral lesson in power. The water turns a shade of turquoise so bright it looks synthetic, before folding into a cavernous tube that vibrates the very marrow of your bones. A short ferry ride across the Sea of Moons brings you to Moorea. If Tahiti is the heartbeat, Moorea is the dream. Dominated by jagged peaks like Mount Rotui, these mountains are draped in a green so intense it seems to have been painted on by a feverish artist. In Moorea, the transition from mountain to lagoon happens in a heartbeat. You can spend your morning hiking through pineapple fields, the red earth staining your boots, and your afternoon submerged in a lagoon that feels like a warm, liquid sapphire. The history here is etched into the landscape. Deep in the Opunohu Valley, ancient stone temples known as Mare sit silently under the canopy of banyan trees. These were the center of religious and social life long before European sails appeared on the horizon. Standing among the moss-covered stones, you feel the mana, the spiritual force that Polynesians believe permeates all living things. It is a quiet, heavy presence, a reminder that these islands were settled by the greatest navigators the world has ever known. People who crossed thousands of miles of open ocean using only the stars, the flight of birds, and the rhythm of the swells. Further northwest lie the Leeward Islands. Raiatea, known as the Sacred Island, holds a position of supreme importance. It is the cradle of Polynesian civilization. Navigators from as far as Hawaii, New Zealand, and Easter Island would return here to exchange knowledge and seek blessings. To walk upon the sun-bleached coral stones of Taputapuatea is to stand at the spiritual epicenter of the Pacific. There is an eerie stillness here. The wind seems to carry the echoes of the pahu drums. Sharing the same lagoon is the Vanilla Island. Life here slows to a crawl. The air is permanently perfumed by the curing vanilla pods. In Taha, the concept of a hurry is entirely foreign. You spend your days drifting over coral gardens where the water is so clear you lose your sense of depth. It is impossible to speak of this region without addressing Bora Bora. Yes, it has the overwater bungalows. It is the poster child for luxury. However, beneath the gloss of high-end resorts lies a landscape of staggering natural drama. Mount Otemanu rises from the center of the lagoon like a black fortress. Its sheer basalt walls are often shrouded in mist, giving the island a primordial feel. The lagoon itself is a masterpiece of physics and light. Because the water is shallow and the sand is pure white, the sunlight reflects upward, creating shades of blue that the human eye struggles to categorize. There are electric blues, milky teals, and deep, bruised purples where the reef drops off into the abyss. Canoeing across this lagoon at sunset, you realize why this place captured the imagination of sailors and poets for centuries. As the sun dips below the horizon, the sky turns the color of a bruised plum, and the silhouettes of the palm trees become sharp ink blots against the fading light. If the Society Islands are defined by their mountains, the Tuamotu archipelago is defined by their absence. Here, the volcanic peaks have long since eroded and sunk back into the sea, leaving behind only rings of coral sand known as atolls. Rangiroa and Whakarava are worlds made of water. In these places, the land is a mere ribbon of white sand and coconut palms, barely a few feet above sea level. Life is dictated entirely by the tides. In Rangiroa, the Te Pass offers a spectacle of nature that few places can match. As the tide turns, a massive volume of ocean water rushes into the lagoon. Dolphins gather in the standing waves, leaping and playing for the sheer joy of it. Beneath the surface, the concentration of life is staggering. Whakarava, the UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, is famous for its wall of sharks. Hundreds of grey reef sharks patrol the channel, a silent grey armada that moves with a terrifying, synchronized grace. Diving here is not an adrenaline sport. It is a humbling lesson in your place within the ecosystem. You are a guest in a liquid kingdom. To find the true frontier, you must travel northeast to the Marquesas. These islands are the rugged cousins of the Society Islands. There are no protective reefs here, no calm turquoise lagoons. The dark blue swells of the Pacific crash directly against towering cliffs. The landscapes are cinematic, massive waterfalls plunging into hidden valleys, wild horses galloping across high plateaus, and ancient stone tikas hidden in the dense jungle. These tikas, some standing several feet tall with wide, unblinking eyes, guard the remnants of a culture that was once nearly extinguished. It was here that Paul Gauguin sought refuge from the constraints of European society, and where Jacques Brel found his final resting place. The Marquesas demand something of you. They are not pretty in the conventional sense. They are sublime. They are powerful, brooding, and deeply spiritual. Throughout your journey across these 5 archipelagos, one concept remains constant: mana. It is the energy that connects the fisherman to the sea, the carver to the wood, and the dancer to the earth. You see it in the Hiva i Tahiti, the annual festival of dance and song, when the dancers take the stage, their hips moving with a speed that defies anatomy. And the percussionists strike the wooden drums with a rhythmic fury. The air becomes electric. This is not a performance for tourists. It is an assertion of identity. It is a reclaiming of a culture that survived colonization and missionary suppression. The sweat, the chanting, and the dust, kicked up by bare feet, are all manifestations of mana. Polynesian hospitality is centered around the home and the table. To be a guest in a Tahitian home is to be fed until you can no longer move. The national dish is a masterclass in simplicity. Raw tuna marinated in lime juice and freshly squeezed coconut milk, tossed with crunchy cucumbers and carrots. It is bright, creamy, and cooling, perfect antidote to the tropical sun. Coconut is the lifeblood here. Every part of the tree is utilized. The water provides hydration, the cream provides sustenance, the husks provide fuel, and the fronds are woven into baskets and roofs. In the islands, the coconut tree is, quite literally, the tree of life. As the sun sets on the Pacific, casting long shadows over the coral gardens, a sense of melancholy often mingles with the beauty. These islands are on the front lines of a changing planet. The low-lying atolls of the Tuamotu face an existential threat from rising sea levels. The coral reefs, the nurseries of the ocean, are sensitive to the slightest rise in temperature. Yet there is a profound resilience in the people. There is a movement towards sustainable fishing, a revival of traditional voyaging techniques, and a fierce protection of the environment. The Polynesians have always been people of the sea. They understand that to destroy the ocean is to destroy themselves. Leaving French Polynesia is a slow heartbreak. As you sit in the terminal, the scent of the tiare lei around your neck beginning to wilt in the cool air conditioning, you realize that you are carrying a piece of the islands with you. It is the salt on your skin that won't quite wash off, the rhythm of the waves that has settled into your breathing, and the understanding that the world is much larger, much older, and much more mysterious than your daily life suggests. You don't visit these islands to see them. You visit them to be changed by them. You leave with the realization that paradise isn't a destination on a map. It is a way of being, a state of existence where you are in harmony with the wind, the water, and the mana that binds them together. The stars above the Pacific are the same stars that guided the ancient voyagers. You know that the islands will remain, anchored in the deep, waiting for the tide to bring you back.